developments in the court fight over Wisconsin's controversial Act 10 law. A conservative justice now recusing himself from the case. In an order filed today, Justice Brian Hagedorn says the law requires him to do it. That's because Hagedorn wrote the law when he worked for Governor Scott Walker. The Supreme Court will hear a challenge to the 2011 law, which took away collective bargaining rights from thousands of public sector workers. The court is considering a Dane County judge's decision last month that overturned most of the law. With Hagedorn's recusal, liberals have a 4-2 edge in deciding the case.